All right. If you have any questions regarding anything we covered today, please type that question into the Q&A section of this WebEx. We do have some RMS Support Center folks on standby to take care of those. And we'll also open up the floor for discussion at the end of the presentation. So if you'd like to wait until the end and then unmute to ask your question, you will have the opportunity to do that as well. All right, let's get started. Here are the topics that are going to be discussed today as it relates to this new patch release. First, we'll look at a fix made to login. Then we'll look at some fixes and updates made just generally to RMS. We'll also look at the administration area, the submittals area, also the finances, specifically contract finances, award cleanse, progress payments, and contract changes and modifications. And finally, we'll look at the QA and QC area in RMS. Then we'll also have our references, which contain some helpful links, and we'll have our discussion after that if needed. Okay, first up is related to login. There was an issue where new users could create an account without setting a password, and this was resulting in the users getting locked out of RMS until the 24-hour period had passed. So now that's been fixed, and users cannot access the create account button unless an email and password have both been entered into this screen here. To demonstrate this fix, we've got the new user registration screen open in the upcoming patch release. And as you can see, we've got the first name filled out, the last name, and the work email address. So since the password has not been filled in, the create account button is inactive. But if we grab one from the bottom, add it to the password field, since we haven't confirmed, that button is still inactive. And only until we confirm the password will the create account button become active. Okay, moving out of the login and into the general updates. This update stems from some issues experienced by users working concurrently in the same document package. So, for example, let's say that there are two users working in the same document package at the same time. One user finishes their work and completes the document package unaware that another user is still working in that same document package. Well, maybe that other user sees a document that they don't think should be there and they delete the attachment, even though the document package had been created. So previously, RMS was allowing this delete action to go through even after the document package had been completed by another user. Normally, when a document package is completed, it becomes read-only. However, since the other user's RMS had not received the updated changes yet, the other user was still able to delete the file in this hypothetical situation. This has been corrected, though, and now before allowing attachments to be deleted from a document package or edited, RMS is going to check and see if the document package has been completed or not. If it has been completed, then the warning shown here on the screen is going to appear instead and not allow any changes to be made to the completed document package. If more documents need to be added, users can add those files in a new document package. Okay, the next update also relates to document package, specifically the image preview thumbnail that was previously here. The preview was causing some errors with larger images or within contracts with a large number or size of files and images. So to prevent those errors, the preview thumbnail has just been removed from this document package view. The image can still be viewed, though, by clicking on the View Image button. If the image needs to be edited, you can click on the Edit Image button when that's active. And finally, to save the image, click on the Save Image to File button. So those buttons have replaced what used to be the thumbnail preview, or preview thumbnail. Okay, next, recently we updated RMS to allow a more expanded list of file types for upload, but the drag and drop options in RMS were not honoring this update. Only the add buttons were working for this. So that's been resolved. And now all the accepted file types can be added using both the drag and drop functions as well as the add buttons throughout RMS. So to demonstrate this fix, I'm starting in a document package in the current production release. First, I'll add a file type recently added to the accepted file types using the add button. So I'll select that from my file system. And we can see that that is successfully added. So I'll delete that. And now I'll try adding the same file using the drag and drop function. Again, this is the current production release, and you can see that we receive an error that this is an unsupported file type, even though we could add it with the add button. So now I'll go to the upcoming patch release, as you can tell by the replace thumbnail, and I'll add that file again using the add button. As we can see, again, it is successful using that button, so I'll delete that. And then again, I'll try adding it using the drag and drop function. So in the upcoming patch release, that has been corrected, and accepted file types can be added using the add button as well as the drag and drop function. Okay, moving on from the general updates, we'll look at the contract file module within the administration tab. So in the new file viewer tab recently added, entering any values into the search box of this tab was causing errors. It wasn't accepting any data input at all. So that's been resolved, and the search function will now accept and properly search for keywords in the file viewer tab in the contract file module. To demonstrate this fix, I'll open the current production release and I'll open the contract file, specifically the file viewer tab. Within this view, I'll try and search for something, and as you can see, as soon as I start typing, I receive this error. So this is the issue that's been resolved. So now in the upcoming patch release, I also have the same view open, and if I attempt to search for a keyword, you can see that it's functioning properly and there is no error. Okay, here we had an issue with signing RMS generated documents from within the contract file module rather than from within the associated document package. So this error shown here would appear and prevent the signing of those documents. And this has been resolved. RMS generated documents can be signed successfully from within the contract file module as well as from within the associated document package. To demonstrate this fix, I'll open the upcoming patch release. So I have a contract open, and I'll show signing an RMS generated document successfully in the contract file module. So we'll enter the contract file module. And to find an RMS generated document, I'll go to the Quality Assurance and Quality Control menu, and we'll find a QA report that still needs to be signed right here. So when I double click on it, I'm presented with the PCF document view where I have the Sign Document button. Select the document to sign, and I'll leave this digital signature position as is and click Finish. Enter my PIN. And as we can see, no error comes up and the RMS application does not close. And it looks like the document was also signed successfully. Okay, next, still in contract file, this update is for the DD1354 document package. Previously, and where those documents in that document package are stored in the contract file. Previously, documents added to this document package were going to the wrong PCF container. Instead of the other contract documents PCF container, these documents will now go to the contract's closeout PCF container. Okay, moving on from administration, real quick is an update to the transmittal log. Previously, when removing submittal items from a transmittal, the document packages in the attachments for that submittal item were getting removed, but the files could still be found in the contract file. So now when removing a submittal item, this message will appear letting you know that the associated document packages and files will also be deleted upon removing the submittal item. This won't delete anything from the main document package found at the bottom of the screen of the transmittal edit view. Only those document packages and files found in the attachments button for the submittal items appear in this portion of the screen. To demonstrate this update, I'll first start by showing an issue that was occurring in the current production release, which led to this update. So first, I've got a contract open in the current production release in contractor mode. And I'll go to the Submittals tab and then to the Transmittal Log module. I'll enter our transmittal. And as you can see, we've got 2 submittal items included on this transmittal. So let's take a look at these attachments in the document package. We've got 2 attachments, Test 2023 and Test-Addition 2023. So if we go back to the transmittal edit view, turns out we don't actually need this first submittal item, so we'll select that submittal item and click on this delete button. We'll then confirm removal. So from this view, it looks like the submittal item was removed along with the documents. However, if we enter the same contract in government mode, still in the current production release, and we navigate to the contract file module within the administration tab, we'll search for 2023. And as we can see here, those documents, even though they were seemingly removed from the transmittal and contractor mode, they still show in the contract file module in government mode. This is incorrect. Those should be removed completely from the contract. So in our upcoming patch release, though, I'm in contractor mode in the same contract. I'll go to the Submittals tab and then the Transmittal Log module again. Only I'll enter this other transmittal. We've got the same issue going on here, or the same situation going on here, 2 submittal items included in this transmittal. So we'll take a look at those attachments in the document package. So this time we've got Test 2024 and Test-Addition 2024. So same situation as last time. I'll go back to the transmittal edit view, and it turns out we do not need this first submittal item. So I'll select it, click on the delete button, and this is that updated warning that we showed on the slide. Are you sure you want to remove item 1 from this transmittal? The action will also delete submittal document packages. So again, I'll confirm the removal by clicking yes. Now, if we navigate to the government mode instance of our contract, still in the upcoming patch release, and then we go to the contract file module, we'll search for those documents again, 2024. So as you can see, those documents cannot be found in the contract file module any longer, and they are completely removed when removed from the transmittal, as shown in contractor mode. Okay, now we'll move into the finances portion of this presentation. Starting with contract finances, the SNA rate field in the CFM's Finances tab within the Contract Finances module was not saving when a value was entered. Upon entering a value and then leaving and returning to the view, the value previously entered would be cleared. This has been resolved, and so when a value is entered in this field, that will save and remain there even after leaving and re-entering the view. Okay, moving into progress payments. There's been an update to the payment status summary that shows on the bottom of the progress payment selection view screen. When a contract is not linked to CFUMS, the sent to CFUMS, contractor paid, and not required fields down here are going to display accordingly. Since the contract isn't linked to CFUMS, these statuses and the payment due date will show as not required. However, please do keep in mind that even though the payment due dates won't show here as not required, you're still required to follow the terms that were set into the contract, and you do need to ensure that the contractor is paid in a timely manner from the system that's being used to pay the contractor. So whatever financial institution is being used instead of CFUMS. Next, still in progress payments. Recently, we had an update to the discount percent field within the invoice tab in government mode, and then I think it's the payment POC tab in contractor mode. An update was made to the discount percent field to allow whole numbers to be entered here as the percentage value rather than the decimal value that would convert into the desired percentage. However, this update was not behaving correctly in the prompt payment certification report. So we can see that the discount days do show up correctly, but the discount percent is showing incorrectly. This has been corrected, and the value entered into the discount percent field is what will show on the prompt payment certification report. To demonstrate this fix, I have a payment open in the upcoming patch release in RMS, and I'll fill in the discount days field and also the discount percent field, and I'll just enter 5 here as it's shown on the slide. And so whenever I click on the reports button and go to the prompt pay report, we can see that it does in fact display on the prompt payment certification report as it's entered in RMS. Okay, our last update to progress payments for this release is going to be found in the obligations tab of a payment. The maximum retainage percent that can be set for an obligation is now capped at 10%, and only up to 6 decimal places can be entered in this field. So if you're out of bounds in either way with the values that you enter here, RMS is going to let you know by highlighting the field in red. And when you hover over the field with your mouse, some error messages will show up letting you know what's wrong. To demonstrate this update, I have a contract open in the progress payments module, and I have a payment ready for us to demonstrate with. For the sake of this demo, I'll just jump right over to the additional earnings tab and check the total allowed earnings for this pay period entered checkbox, which will allow me to enter the obligations tab. And so here, the retainage percent field, it's capped at 10% now. So whenever I enter 11%, I'll get the highlighted red box, and to get the warning to show up, you will need to hover over in this corner here. There we go. Max retainage is 10%. So I'll change that now and click out, change to 10%. And as you can see, it is fine with 10%. Down here, if I enter 5.1234567 places and click out, again, the box is going to be highlighted and you'll need to hover over the corner to get the warning message or the error. Max 6 digits to the right of the decimal, and when I delete one and click out, no more red box. Okay, moving into the contract changes within finances. So we'll start with the potential design deficiency tab. The verbiage and the prompts on this tab have been updated. We've also moved the tab to be a little more in line with how a change request is filled out, the flow of that. So that's been moved before the status funding tab, and these updated prompts are now question A, is the construction change a code 1 engineering change? If yes, proceed to question B. Could the construction change be attributable to an error or omission by the AE contractor? If yes, provide summary. And question C, if yes to question B, what are the potential damages that the government may suffer because of the error or omission? So a little verbiage change here. This will all show on the BCD report as it's been updated as well. And here is the new view for the fields that are going to appear if you answer yes to both questions A and B. These text boxes will appear for more information to be added. And at the bottom here, the cost information for potential damages can be added similarly to how they were added previously. Okay, still in contract changes, this next issue also relates to the potential design deficiency tab. And it was occurring on contracts that had a currency type set to something other than US dollars in contract setup. As shown down here, this contract has the euro dollar set for the currency type. So if there were values entered into what was before our last update that I just reviewed, the estimated cost of damages as a result of the AE's actions area, no matter which no matter which currency type was set in contract setup for the contract, the BCD was only showing US dollar signs. So this has also been corrected, and now the values entered into the estimated cost of potential damages area will reflect the currency type set in contract setup on the BCD report. So this contract has the euro dollar set again, and it's showing that in the BCD report as well. To demonstrate this fix, I have a contract open, and before I enter the contract changes, we'll go to the Administration tab and navigate to Contract Setup. And as we can see here in the funding section, the currency type set for this contract is the euro dollar. Now we'll go back. Then we'll go to the Finances tab and open the Contract Changes module. I'll pick a change to open. And we'll navigate to the Potential Design Deficiency tab, which is now the third tab in this list. This tab has been updated with new verbiage and prompts. So to get the text boxes to appear, you'll have to answer a yes to question A and question B. And for this fix, we're worried about the values down here. So already it's showing the euro dollar abbreviation there. And so I'll enter some numbers here. So if we go into the BCD report, and navigate to page 2 where the potential design deficiency information is, we can see down here at the bottom that the euro dollar is reflected instead of the US dollar. Okay, next in contract changes still is an issue that was occurring with creating an RFP for a change request. So in the Supporting Documents tab, you have the ability to create documents that can be included in the supporting documents for the change request. However, when choosing to add a correspondence in the form of a new or existing request for proposal or RFP, that RFP was not showing in the Supporting Documents tab. In the system, it was in fact being created and could be seen in the Correspondence module, but it was not displaying here in this tab. This has been fixed, so when an RFP is linked to a change request, that RFP is going to properly show here in the Supporting Documents tab. To demonstrate this fix, I'll first show the error in production. So here in the current production release, I have a change request open, and I'm in the Supporting Documents tab. So when I click to add, and go to the correspondence menu, and I'll click link to existing correspondence. I'll click on our RFP here and click OK. And as you can see, even after clicking the refresh button, the document is not showing up in this tab. Now in the upcoming patch release, I'll enter that same change request. Go to the Supporting Documents tab and follow the same process. Add correspondence, link to existing correspondence, and then I'll select the RFP, click OK. And as you can see, it does get added correctly into the Supporting Documents tab now. Next up is an issue that was occurring with change request numbering. So when creating a single part change request, there is an option here at the bottom of the Inception tab that allows converting a single part change request into a multi-part change request. And performing this conversion updates the change request number to add the -1 suffix. However, in some contracts like this one shown here, the default prefix set for change requests within the local office module for this office in RMS was not allowing this conversion, and that's because the character length for this number was previously restricted at only 7 characters. So as shown on the slide here, that would make the change request number 9 characters long, which was causing this transaction failed database error shown here. Since the local office module actually allows up to 4 characters to be entered for the change request prefix code, I think this one does have 4 as well. Yes, the character length for this identifier needed to be updated. To fix this, the maximum character length throughout RMS has been, for these types of identifiers, has been updated to 10 characters. As it relates to this particular issue, a single part change request can be successfully converted into a multi-part change request, regardless of the change request prefix code entered in the local office module. To demonstrate this fix, we'll open the upcoming patch release, and we're going to start in the contract selection view so that I can go to the local office menu. And then we'll select the office that we'll be using a contract from for this demonstration. So that's this one, and then we'll go to the office description module for that office. This module is where you can find the prefix code for change requests field. So you can either find the prefix code here or enter it here. And this field allows up to 4 characters. So I'll enter an arbitrary value there. And then go back to save and back. And now we'll enter our contract. So I entered the maximum amount of characters that could be entered for the prefix code for change requests. So if we go under the Finances tab for a contract and then go to the Contract Changes module, we'll add a change request. And since we want to perform the conversion from a single part into a multi-part, we'll keep this at the single part change request selection. And here you can already see our prefix code we just entered. So I'll choose a reason code as well and click Finish. So when you create a single part change request, this button down here, the Convert to Part 1 of a multi-part change button, is available to do as it says, convert this change request into the first part of a multi-part change. And what that's going to do is update this number to be suffixed with a -1. Previously, RMS was restricting this character length to 7 characters, and so adding it to this would make this 9 characters, and therefore an error was coming up and was not allowing users to make this conversion. So now, since we're in the upcoming patch release, we've got a longer number here. If we click on this button and confirm, we can see that this number is updated without error. RMS has updated these types of identifiers to have a maximum character length of 10 characters across RMS. So that has been updated and fixed. Okay, our final fix for contract changes. This one relates to change requests for a weather modification. So in some instances, in the description of change section on the BCD, the first month of the time frame selected for the change request was getting excluded from the list of months shown in this section here. So here we can see that there were, in fact, some weather delays in the month of January 2018. But when trying to reflect that through a change request for the time frame of January 2018 to May 2018, January was getting excluded for some reason. So this was being caused by a disagreement between the time components for the month's weather delays versus the time component for the change requests. And so a fix has been made so that only the date information is going to be saved and read for situations like this, rather than the time and date stamp information. To demonstrate this fix, we'll open a contract in RMS. And the first thing I'm going to do is go to the QA/QC tab and navigate to the weather delays module. So for this contract, we've got 2 months reviews complete. And in each of those months, we've got 1 weather delay. So if we enter January 2021, we've got a critical delay and an unresolved conflict. And then if we enter December 2023, we've got 1 critical delay. Now we'll go back to the Finances tab, then to the Contract Changes module. And we're going to add a change request for a weather modification for that time frame. When we click Next, we'll choose our time period. Okay, so we're doing January of 2021 through December of 2023. And we'll click Finish. Now, both of those months, January of 2021 and December 2023, had the review complete on those months, and there was at least 1 weather delay in each of those months. So when we go to the Description tab, down here at the bottom in the Description of Change section for the BCD, we can see that both of those months show up, including the first month. The issue here is that whenever a time frame was chosen for the weather modification, the first month was getting excluded. And so that has been resolved. The first month will show up whenever you add a change request for a weather modification. Okay, moving on from contract changes, we'll now look at some updates and fixes to the contract modifications. So this update is for the SF30 Block 13 section. So this is found in the SF30-2 tab in Contract Modifications. This section here on the screen in RMS has been updated to clarify which radio button here is going to be accompanied by a FAR clause and which should not. So the fields for entering the FAR clause or clauses will only show for those options that should be accompanied by them. So that those options are going to be A, issue pursuant to, and option C, supplemental agreement. When selecting options B, administrative changes, or the other option D, these FAR clause fields will not be shown. So hopefully that should clear a lot up. Okay, and our last fix for contract modifications. Here we're showing an error that was occurring with viewing or printing or attempting to view or print the SF30 when there was no prime contractor set for the contract. So when working in a modification on a contract without a prime contractor, attempting to view the SF30 by clicking on this button was resulting in this error. This error has been resolved, so even if there's no prime contractor set for the contract and you're working in a modification for that contract, the SF30 for a modification can still be viewed and or printed without any error. Okay, finally, our last set of slides will be for the QA/QC tab in RMS, specifically for the multi-sign QA reports feature. So when using this operation to sign daily reports, a second document package was getting created for the reports getting signed. But if a document package already existed for those reports getting signed, then there should not have been a new one created. And that was what was happening. This has been fixed as well. And when using the multi-sign QA reports feature, if a document package already exists for a daily report that has not been marked as completed or anything yet, then a second document package will not be created, and the document within the existing document package will be signed successfully. To demonstrate this fix, we'll enter a contract in the upcoming patch release, and we'll go to the QA/QC tab, and then to the QA Daily Reports module. So we've got a few unsigned daily reports here, and we'll take a look inside of them. So the QA report has been generated, and there is an existing document package. Same goes for the next one. And again, a QA report has been generated, and a document package does exist for all three of these reports. So now if I wanted to sign all of them and click on the multi-sign daily reports button, we'll have to go to the ready to sign as project engineer reports. I'll go ahead and select all of these and click on the sign as project engineer button. Verify the information and confirm the signature. Also enter a PIN or password for authentication. So when it finishes signing the reports, we'll go back to the selection view, and I'll enter the reports again. And as we can see, there's no second extra document package getting created as a result of the multi-sign feature. Since a document package already existed for these reports, there was no need to add a second one. And so that issue has been resolved. Okay, so that was our last fix to review. That concludes our presentation for the day. And here are some helpful references we found as it relates to the topics discussed today. Please remember to keep an eye out for the video we'll be posting of this presentation. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we will be including demonstrations of these updates and fixes as RMS allows in that video. There are also some helpful links at the bottom we like to always include for the RMS website, our YouTube channel, the help desk link and phone number if you have any questions or issues, and also the CAM portal link. Okay, and so we'll open up the floor for discussion now. If you have a question, feel free to add that into the Q&A section of the WebEx or unmute to ask your question. Thanks for attending, everybody.
Excellent. So it does look like we do have a question on the Q&A from a user. He's asking, can I get further information on RMS and certified payrolls? Yes, you can find a lot of that information on our YouTube channel. I did post the link for that channel up at the top. I believe it was the second question that was in there. Yes, so when you get these slides, if you don't have them yet, they will be posted on our website. But once you get those slides, you'll see down at the bottom of this slide number 31, it says RMS Support Center YouTube channel. That is where the videos are. And you can just search for those particular videos. If you want a specific video and you can't find it, you can always give us a call at the help desk and we can be more than happy to help you with that. All right, so we do have another question in the chat. The question is, has the contract notification control tab fixed the notifications for notify via SMS? We are still working to get that corrected. That is actually an issue outside of RMS's control. So that will take some time before we are able to do that. Yes, as Paul mentioned, it has to do with Amazon and their setup. So we're working with them to try and get that fixed. Are there any other questions?
I have a quick question.
Mhm.
Before, and I don't know if it was fixed on the last one or not, but before when you use supporting documents and you generated an RFP or correspondence, the sequence number wasn't correct. And I would always have to just wind up deleting that, go back out and go into correspondence and then create my RFPs. So is that number going to be sequenced properly now?
It should be sequenced properly at this point in time. If you're actually seeing that it's not sequenced properly, please give us a call or put a support ticket in and we'll sit there and look at the situation and see what's going on. But the numbers should be in the same sequence. So if you've already got a couple of correspondence up there, then it should start with the next correspondence that's coming through.
Okay. I know there was issues with that in the past. Thanks.
Mhm. Any other questions?
Hi, one quick question. On the references page, the YouTube channel, help desk, and the call number, is that allowed to be given to the contractors?
Yes, you can give all of that to the contractors.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, at any point in time, if your contractors need help and you don't know the answer, you can always point them to us. You can give them that phone number. They can give us a call. You can also send them the link to the Jira Service Desk. They will have to create an account. Once they've created an account, which is separate from RMS, then they can submit a ticket that way as well. However, the KM portal, they will not be able to access that. That is for government only. Any other questions? Tulsa District does not allow the use of RMS for certified payroll. Okay, yeah. So also keep in mind with certified payroll that if there's something going on and you have a specific question about it, you do need to check your district's policy because not all districts do things the same way. Is the most current patch 446 version 198? Yes, the most current patch is 446 version 198. We were having issues, I believe, yesterday morning. For whatever reason, the server was down. Only one of the servers were down. So some people were able to get in and some people were not. That was corrected yesterday, so you should be able to get it. If you're having problems getting into RMS at this point in time, please give us a call at the 442-333-1011. And I do suggest you call us so that way we can get you in as quickly as possible. Okay? Any other questions? Let's see here. Is there a way to stop a contractor payroll generating after a contractor demobilizes? Yeah, so basically with contractor payroll, all of that stuff is set up in two different places. That's in the subcontractor module as well as the payroll module. So in order to get those right, then the contractors on site, those dates need to be entered correctly. So if the subcontractor is no longer in there, the final day needs to be entered in that area. Now that can only be done by the contractor. So if you want that done, you need to let your contractor know, hey, you need to put the date in so that way they stop generating these payrolls and then it'll update the payrolls and you will no longer see those extra payroll dates. Okay, we'll hang on for a couple more minutes. If you do have any other questions, feel free to pop them in the chat or open up. Otherwise, in a couple of minutes, we will say thank you very much.
I have a question about the orphan documents from deleted document package files. What's the best method to find those? And how can I tell when I'm looking at a contract that's ready to start archiving, final payment, whatever? How do I tell which documents those are?
That is a very good question. So part of the reason, I know another user asked if those orphan documents would be removed when this release goes out, and the answer is no, that it isn't, because RMS doesn't track whether or not, it doesn't actually give you a direct link between which document package it's associated with as well as the document itself in the contract file. So when you're in contract file, there's no real easy way to go find that kind of information. Tell you what, if you want some more information on that one, submit a support ticket and we can do some research to see if there's a way that we can help you find that, because as far as I know, there's no real fast, easy way to figure out which ones are orphans and which ones are not.
Okay, All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. See, it looks like there's another question. I was primarily trying to find out when the phase out will begin for certified payroll. Ah. Yeah, so there is a question in the chat where we've heard about this phase out phrase, but at this point there's nothing concrete. So we don't know about phasing out the certified payrolls at this time. And please contact your district administrators if you have any questions regarding that.
All right. Thanks so much for taking care of those questions. We're going to go ahead and close out. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and Happy New Year.